Hi everybody, welcome to question of the day. Okay, today's question is from Becca JB. And her question is, when did you first meet Audie and what did you think? Where was I, meaning herself, when you met her? Okay. Alright, let me scoot back here a minute. I don't remember exact details, exactly when I first met her. And I couldn't even remember, I was trying to think about this the other day a while back, and I couldn't remember if we had still lived out on Bowie or if we had done moved to the Highway 49, when I met her. Well, Audie herself made a video the other day with this same question from Becca. Becca's asked both of us the question. And what I am understanding from what Audie said, she thinks that where we lived by the church on Highway 49 is Bowie. Is that right, Audie? If you see this, if that's what you're thinking, that's not Bowie. Bowie Swamp is out by Lake Montconnor. I thought you knew that. But yeah, we used to live way out there in the woods. I mean, we lived, when I was a little bitty girl way back when it was a dirt road, well, even after I actually lived on that spot of land 3 times in my life. 3 different times in my life. When I was a little bitty girl, and then later as an older girl and turning into my first teen years. Then we moved to the highway, and then I got married. Well, then me and Albert and the girls moved from Vicksburg, Mississippi, and moved out there. But even then, when me and Albert and the girls moved out there, it was still a dirt road, but then later they paved the road. And, it used to be all woods and then just scattered houses way far apart. And it was swampy. There was like a little swampy creek out there. I think it's kind of all dried up now and ain't there. And all of the woods mostly has been cut down and more houses has come out there and built and people live out there more. So it don't look the same as it used to. So it don't really look like a Bowie swamp anymore. So anyway, Audie, that's where Bowie is and where I used to live. So evidently, from what Audie said, no, I did not meet her when we lived on Bowie. It was after we had moved to Highway 49 by that church, Brother Francois Church, where we went to start with anyway, and then we started going to New Chapel. So anyway, so we must have lived there, which I was either 15 or 16 when we moved to the highway. And so it was after that age that I had met Audie. Then, going by all this, And like I said, I couldn't remember all the details. All I remember and knew was that I thought this girl was my cousin because she lived with my cousin Herman and his wife Violet. I thought she was their kid, so that would make her my cousin. Now Herman was my first cousin, so it would have made her my second cousin, the way we do the cousin things. It's not really the right way to do it, I know, but it's the way we have done it all our lives. But, that's what I thought, that she was my second cousin. And so, like I said, I guess she remembers more than I do. Nothing bad about that, Audie. I remember you. I remember knowing you, and I remember playing with you, and thinking you were my cousin, But as far as remembering details, but she remembers more details about coming and staying with me and playing games than I do. And, but I'm guessing, like she said, that's how it was. She was with Herman. Now, the reason she was with Herman, Violet, Herman's wife, is her aunt, her daddy's sister, and her mom and dad was not together, so she didn't have a home like that to stay with. She went back and forth to different ones, and then she stayed with her Uncle Herman and Aunt Violet a lot during that time, lived with them, and so that's why I thought she was their daughter, and I liked them again. And so we did a lot. I mean, that's our kinfolks, me and Mama, and my mama, of course, by then, my mama, yeah, because my mama Walker had passed away when we lived out on Bowie. But still, we used to go to Sunset a lot, to my Uncle JC's, when my mama was alive. And Herman and them, and just to visit them all back and forth, and they'd come to our house. So, I'm guessing that's when Audie lived with them, and she would come with them to visit us, and when we would go to their house. And so then she started staying and playing games with me. And so, and why Becca said, how did I feel about it, or what did I think about it, I don't know. I loved it. I was glad to have a cousin, because I thought she was my cousin. I was glad to have another cousin that was close to my age, because most of all my cousins is, like Herman, he was my first cousin, but he was way older than me. So I was glad to have another cousin around my age that I liked, and that liked me, and that liked to play games like I did. And I always loved to have friends around, and my friends, and I was always having people spend the night with me, or I was spending the night with people, or I had a lot of slumber parties, and so I was glad about it, and I liked it. So that's how we met. And let's see. Oh, and she had asked, where was I at? Well, during that time, I'm thinking you still lived on the coast, which was Escatawba, Moss Point area. I'm thinking that's before you got your church and moved to Prentiss, Mississippi. That's what I'm thinking, if I ain't mistaken. Try to figure it out. What year did y'all get the church and move to Prentiss? And I know that we had moved to the highway, so I was either 15 or 16. Of course, when you say the year, I'll know exactly how old I'll have to figure it up, but I'll know how old I was that year. So then we can kind of go from there and really figure that up then. Alrighty, guys. Becca, I hope you enjoyed my answer to your question. Everybody else, I hope you enjoyed the question and the answer. And everybody else, bring me in some more questions. Question of the day, put that beside it. I'll know you want me to do it on video. Under any video of mine, not just the question of the day's videos, but any of them would be good. So, alright guys, I'm out of here. Until next time, I'm done. I'm going toodaloo.